so much of our distress comes from what we're imagining about the future or what we're replaying in our minds about the past. And while certainly not always true, the vast majority of the time when we actually can bring ourselves into the present will teach us something useful. And so what we're going to be doing is kind of serving as a kind observer to ourselves. We're going to be practicing paying attention, and we're going to be learning what we find in the body, what we find in the mind. And a really lovely side effect is often that the nervous system really settles as a process of this. That doesn't always happen. Sometimes when you check into right now, it's not settling. So we'll just kind of find out. And I guess I just want to see, especially for those of you that are new, if you have any questions before we play around with this. No? Okay. All right. So I would invite you to get into a position. You want to be comfortable, but you also want to be seated upright so your lungs have a lot of space to breathe. And you might think of your spine as long, and one of my teachers uses the term dignified. So a dignified spine. And really what you're doing by sitting upright is you're supporting your attention. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if that feels okay to you. If you are more comfortable with your eyes open, also totally fine, but just allow your gaze to be gentle and soft and downward, just kind of diffuse in front of you 3 or 4 feet. And the whole reason for lowering the gaze or closing the eyes is really just to limit the stimulation that comes in through the eyes all day long. So we're kind of tuning that down a little. And then we're going to move attention to our connection with the ground. So you might start with your feet and just feel into your feet. Just notice where the weight of the body is falling on the feet. If they're on the ground, do you notice more weight toward the heels or the toes, toward the inside or the outside of the foot? And you can even limit your attention just to your right big toe. And just feel into your right big toe for a moment. You're not trying to make anything happen. You're just taking this role of observer, noticing what you sense in your right big toe. Or perhaps the other toes on your right foot. And you can even open the lens a little more to feel your entire right foot. Noticing the pressure against the ground. Perhaps the texture of your socks or your shoes. And then moving that attention over to your left big toe. So you're doing the same thing. You're just kind of zooming in on any sensation right now, in this moment in your left big toe. And expanding it to your second toe on your left foot. your third toe, perhaps your fourth, and even your baby toe. And then just feeling all the toes together on the left foot. Opening that lens a little more to feel your entire left foot. And then if you want to, you can expand your attention even more to feel both of your feet at the same time. And maybe even getting a sense of your connection to the earth. You can just gently move your attention up your legs, through the bend of the knees, to your upper legs, all the way to your sit bones. And then just taking a moment to feel your weight, the pressure of the sit bones against the chair or wherever it is you're seated. Again, just noticing that sense of groundedness. Really connecting into the earth. And then bringing your attention on up through your hips, through your lower belly, your waist, up into your upper torso. And we'll just spend a little time noticing what it's like to be breathing in this moment. So you may feel the breath expanding and releasing. And you may notice some place that's most obvious to you right now. It could be deep in the belly. It could be at the sides where the ribs push out. It could be at your back where the breath expands even behind you. It could be at the front of the chest. The lungs expand in all directions. So just taking a moment to observe how the breath is right this moment. And while we'll keep coming back to the breath, you might also want to notice if you move your attention on up to your shoulders, both up your neck and also out the shoulders to your arms. Just scanning over the body, down your arms, to your hands, to your fingers. And also scanning up your neck and the back of the head, all the way up to the crown of your head. Perhaps beginning to feel into the space around the eyes, the forehead. Allowing some kind attention to the cheeks and the jaw. The chin, the underneath of the jaw, and down the front of the throat. And if there's any particular place in the body that's calling your attention, feel free to rest your attention on that spot. Just noticing with kindness what's going on in that particular place. And if you have a regular meditation practice, feel free to just titrate my voice as you need to. Of treating it like the sound of the wind, tuning in when you wish. And if you find it helpful to have more guidance, then feel free to tune into it as much as you like. As I invite you just to rest the attention back at the breath, wherever you personally feel the breath most clearly. And you might begin to notice 4 different parts to the breath. The natural in-breath, and then a pause at the top of the in-breath. And the natural out-breath. And perhaps a slightly longer pause at the bottom of the out-breath. And so you don't have to do anything, you don't have to make anything happen. You're just watching the wisdom of the breath, seeing when it moves in, when it pauses, seeing when it releases. And maybe even finding that stillness at the bottom of the out breath. If at any point the mind wanders, just notice it. Again, with kindness, you're just observing, gently bringing the attention back to witness this breath. And as you fully experience this breath, if there's a place in the body that would feel good to just release, drop shoulders, soften jaw, whatever it is, feel free to allow yourself to do that. And finding the pause in this breath. And then just giving yourself full attention to the next 3 breaths. And in the next breath or the one after that, then just allowing your attention to expand again back into our group. And bring yourself back on screen if that's comfortable to you. Allowing your eyes to open and just reorienting